our Twitter handle here, bookmap_pro. Bookmap on YouTube, I'll show you that. And then our email is support@bookmap.com. And the agenda today is first to define quickly here, what is Bookmap? How many of you out there have heard of Bookmap or maybe have it? If you can just give me a quick yes or okay. Excellent, excellent. Fantastic. Okay. Well, this is really for you guys. I mean, of course. So, maybe this point number 4 here, the Q&A and features and components is something we want to dig deeper into. So I'll try to go through maybe these other elements pretty quickly here, or topics, gaining an edge with order flow, and then integrating order flow context within your trading plan. I talked about that in some detail last time. So anyway, I want to get this out of the way. There's going to be a lot of questions about the deal from Bookmap, how to connect it, etc. So I want to touch on that first, so you guys, have a little bit of understanding. We can go over it in more detail. There's a link here, affiliate link from CTU, from Fausto, that I'll put all of these into the chat for you guys. So all these links, so you'll have all of them. You can click on them. You don't have to copy them, down and write them out. But the specials that you can get here from this link is the Global Plus version of Bookmap for $147 for the first 3 months, and then it's only for the first 3 months, and then it goes back to the $99 a month for each month, and it's $297 for the next 3 months. So it's a quarterly recurring. There's the Bookmap Global Plus for the year, $588 for the first year, $948 for the second year, yearly recurring. This one I think is the best deal. Global Lifetime for $990. It includes the add-on package free for the first year, or you can get the Global Plus, the Cadillac version here, Lifetime, for $1990, and that will include the add-on package for Lifetime. So there's a few different options there for you. And I need to go over the requirements here for data, because this is important. So you will need to first subscribe to Bookmap, then you will need to subscribe to DXFeed data. Okay, Bookmap is just the platform. We're not a data provider, nor are we a broker, right? So DXFeed data is required. Now there's different plans from DXFeed. You can get it from the Bookmap website, but it's really, we're just the middleman here. So it's DXFeed that is offering this for US equities. NASDAQ total view and last sale is $69 a month. EDGX, CBOE, and BATS is $59 a month. You can get either or. Now these are ECNs, or you can get the premium bundle, which is both of these together. So it's $19.90. I'm sorry, $119 per month. It's $59 for the first month only, though. So you can try it out for $59 and see if you like it. And you can try one of the other packages here. Now, I need to also note here that with the Bookmap Global Plus version, which has all the add-on indicators, you can actually trade from Bookmap and route your trading activity to a TradeStation or Interactive Brokers live account. Okay, but you are not connecting to their data feeds. All right, DXFeed is still required. Right, so you get the data from DXFeed. You make your trading decisions from DXFeed data. You route your trading orders, so you're actually going to be sending TradeStation and Interactive Brokers your data. So you don't receive anything from them. You actually send them data, your trade data. All right, so anyway. There's probably going to be some questions about that. That's why I wanted to go over this right now. Let's see here. Let's continue on. Is that it? Is that all I have? Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, great. So let me, I want to go over this. What kind of stocks do you want to take a look at? All right. So let me know in the chat there if there's a few involved. I looked at Fausto's list earlier today. I have a few different stocks up here to take a look at and go over. Okay, you want to look at AMC and Bank of America? All right. Yeah, we can take a look at those. Okay. Facebook. All right. Yeah, Facebook's a good one. I like Facebook. I know that you guys, well, Fausto doesn't like to trade too much of the large caps. So I want to go over some of the ones that he was taking a look at so you guys get a little more insight from that. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Excella, I got that one up, I believe. Yeah, I do here. Okay. And all right, let's put in AMC as well. What the heck? All right. Okay, we're going to let those kind of collect some data here and we'll get back to them. Now, since a lot of you guys already have Bookmap or are familiar with it, then I still want to go over the basics here for those that don't, and just a quick review of what Bookmap is and what it's displaying here in the screen. All right, on the chart. It like Fausto had said, this looks very busy and complex. It's actually quite the opposite. It's really simple and blunt data. What you're looking at here are only 3 elements on the Bookmap chart. Okay, and in fact, I can take them off one at a time, and let's just do that. Okay, so now this is just one very simple element here. Okay, this is just streaming best bid and offer. Right, that's all it is. Best bid and offer over time. There is no time frame here. This kind of throws a lot of traders for a loop. There's no time frame like the, and here's why. Okay, when you look at a time frame, like we can overlay a candlestick chart here. If you look at this candlestick chart, this is 5 minutes. Let's go to 15 minutes just for the day here. Every 15 minutes or whatever period it is, it could be a volume period, could be a range bar period, it could be a point and figure rotational period. Whatever it is aggregated data within that period. Okay, so you're only getting open, high, low, and close for these 15 minutes here. Okay, what happened in between that? You have no clue. Okay, when you go back and look at this. So looking at all of the price action, see these details down here? They matter. Okay, and these details here as well. You do not see this pullback here. These are great entries, all right, or great areas to consider entries or extensions here. Okay, there's a little bit of a, we can zoom into there, but let me take the candlestick chart off because you cannot see it in the candlestick. Even if you look at a 1 minute, it is still aggregated data within that 1 minute. Okay, so let's take the candlestick off and zoom in here just a little bit. Okay, see this little area right here where it broke the high of the pre-market here. Okay, kind of went sideways for a little bit and then, or it just kind of pulled back a little bit of sideways and then it broke out. Okay, so understanding the context of the volume and liquidity within these areas with the price structure created by best bid and offer gives you an edge here. Okay, so it broke out from this area, but it wasn't so decisive. Okay, until you're going to see volume come in around this area here. Once you see that volume come in and it starts to reach for higher liquidity, that's when you're going to get these insights here. Okay, it's not going to be in your candlestick chart. All right, so let's add the volume on here. That's the second element on this Bookmap chart. Okay, and you can see the volume dots here. All right, let me make them a little bit bigger. It's really, really simple data. It's just showing you the green dots are market buy orders. The red dots are market sell orders. That's it. Okay, this is the aggressor classification of volume. This is all of the volume we typically look at. All right, so you can see the cash open here at 9:30, big, big volume, immediately to the upside, pullback again to the upside, and then it broke here again to the upside. All right, and you can see who's in charge here. There's no question, right? Because it's showing you every single piece of information here. Okay, you can see all the volume coming in. All right, so it's not aggregated. It's every single transaction. Right, so this is the kind of insight that you can get by starting to understand some of the order flow here. Now we're only talking about 2 elements. And we're already starting to get a pretty good insight to who's in control and where price might be going. So we know this going up. Now, we don't know where, though. Okay, that's when the liquidity heat map comes in. And what is the heat map? And this is the one that confuses everybody. The heat map is showing you liquidity. Okay, it's all derived from your level 2. Okay, your dome, your depth of market. Now, if we take a look here, just in one of these columns, this COB column here, it stands for current order book. This is liquidity here. Okay, so in Apple, we're looking at these levels of liquidity. You see the number of shares at these specific price levels. Okay, so quite a bit, and the most in the book, right up here at 148. Okay, almost 27,408 to be exact. And that's where the most liquidity is, and we never traded up there for the day. Okay, we traded into some of these other areas, or just shy of it, it looks like here. But now see how this is separated from the chart. Okay, well, what we do in Bookmap is we take this data, these numerical values, and we transform them into a heat map. Now, the scale of the heat map's in the top center of this chart: red, orange, very high liquidity, then yellow, white, blue, and then black. All right, so now let's put the heat map onto the chart. Okay, and now you can see very clearly not only where they are in the current order book, but where they are in the historical order book. And you have this context now of understanding this is supply, this is heavy supply. And there's enough buyers to trade through it, but not enough to go up into and past this 147.50. And we never got to 148. All right, but you understand this context of where price might be going, because that's where the sellers are. It's as simple as that. Okay, this is where the aggressors, the green dots, the market buy orders, charge up into and meet the sellers on the offer. Okay, now, because we record all of this, and you can see all the transactions here and the moves into this high liquidity, you're going to start to see a lot of different things in here, like areas here, for example. Okay, this was that swing from the pre-market and the move above it, okay, into high liquidity here, high liquidity again here and here. Okay, and still more buying pressure. Now the buying pressure kind of wanes up here, and you're going to see some sellers start to come in and drive it lower. But for example, let's just go through this concept. It's so easily visualized here in Bookmap. This was supply or resistance. Okay, it turned into demand. Okay, or turned into support. Okay, so those concepts of understanding this break here, this was a critical area here, and kind of pivot area for today for Apple. Right, you can see also here it changed from resistance or supply into demand or support, but enough sellers traded right through it, and you can see where the retest came back up to as well. Okay, right up to 146. Okay, where it went through these orders here. Right, so you really start to understand some details and nuances to the price action. Right, so anyway, that's the basics of Bookmap. I wanted to go through that rather quickly here. Just 3 elements, very simple, but then the nuances that you're going to get from this and start to understand within your trading plan. Okay, whatever it is that you're trading, let's suppose you're trading trend lines, okay, or flag patterns or something like that. Well, that flag pattern, you know, we just witnessed here. In fact, I'm going to show you this zoom tool here. Actually, this is 7.2 Bookmap. There's a few nice things in here. If you're not familiar with it, you can drag just right on the chart here, okay, to anywhere you want, okay, and you can go back to the current market by clicking on this button here to exit drag mode, and you're back to the current market. All right, so let's drag back here. Okay, and then let's look at that little area in here where we broke out from. Okay, and I'm going to click on this. This is a new tool as well, the zoom by drag. So click on that, and then I'm just going to left click, hold, and drag to this area here, and then release. Okay, and then what that area is here from the left side to the right side is that complete area. All right, so now we can see that little area here where we saw that kind of little bit of a bobble and then the breakout, right? It's right in here actually. Okay, so it broke out actually above and through this high liquidity, and then you see these buyers starting to come back in here, looking for it to come at least up to 145.50, and then the next level of liquidity would be up here at 146, and it goes right to it. Right. So anyway, now some really interesting things for stocks in looking at Bookmap here. And that is, oops, now one thing here, you can do Control Z to go back to the previous zoom level. All right, so that's another nice key here. Now you can also see that I'm still in this tool. So I need to deselect it. So click on it again. It will not have that blue outline around it. All right, now I can, zoom back into some of these other areas. You can also use your center mouse wheel to zoom in really quickly. Okay, now what I want to show here, and I'm just fascinated by this still every day, that you can see precisely at 9:30 and even pre-market, there was high liquidity in here at 145 pre-market. Right now, in fact, if we zoom back here before the 9:30 cash open, you can see it high liquidity here on the offer in some of these levels and on the bid down in some of these levels here. You can start to plan your day even pre-market because you know where that liquidity is. Now it's going to change at the market open, right? And it changes rather dramatically, as you can see. See how it's kind of curving here as well? Okay, a lot of liquidity comes in very close to the market, right at the open. Okay, and then they start to add more and more liquidity over time. That's why it's curving like this. Okay, so it's other players reading some of these areas here and then starting to place their orders accordingly. Okay, they were already here in some of these areas, but they added a lot more a little bit later. All right, so these kinds of nuances, you can really start to understand these larger players that park their orders at these areas. They want to get filled at these areas, and they're advertising that. All right, so now if you're bullish for the day, well, you'd be looking for jumping in and or looking for whatever signal it is that you are in your plan, but you'd be looking for these areas of high liquidity to transact. Okay, and these areas here, you can consider taking your profit, moving your stop up behind it, however you want to manage it, because these are critical areas here of high liquidity. Okay, like we saw here, you can see that critical pivot down here traded into it, it bounced a little bit, okay, and then it traded through it here. Okay, it traded through here at 146. Right now, again, look at this little 146 area here. Not only was there high liquidity on the offer here, and it traded through it, but see how it retested back to it here? Not enough sellers to try to drive it down into these areas here. In fact, more buyers come in and they reach the areas of high liquidity at 147 and just shy of this 147.50. Okay, now see this little area here where it bounced. Well, there's buyers here. They're supporting it. Okay, literally. With their orders, and you can see though that the sellers they drive right into it and they're able to drive through it, but then we get retests back to these areas, and that's how critical some of these areas are in understanding that context of where liquidity is. All right, so anyway, a good review and understanding at the open the edge that you're going to be getting just by understanding your liquidity and then being able to integrate that within your plan. All right. Okay, so let's move on and take a look at maybe some other stocks here, and then I want to get into more features and components and maybe some of the stocks that you guys requested. Let's take a look at Facebook here. Okay, let's zoom out a bit. Also, yeah, I can zoom out here and add a little more data here so we get the entire day. Also, same with AMC. Okay. All right. Okay, still downloading data here. We'll jump over here and take a look at XELA and good action here today. Again, just you know, pretty classic order flow. I mean, you'll see this stuff repeat again and again and again. Okay, who's in control here? There's no question, buyers. Okay, they're blazing through high liquidity here. Okay, so and then up here it gets a little dicey. Like they traded into it, you start to see some sellers, but once you start to see buyers back up above, looking for areas of high liquidity again here at 480 and at $5. They go through the $5 range, and then sellers come in and pound it right back down almost to this 450 level here. And then on the offer here, on the offer again here at $5. There's still more buyers able to trade through it, but then you can see that they're still on the offer. And look at the activity here. Okay, understanding this is high supply, right? They're below the high. Okay, that's not bullish. Okay, that's bearish. If they want to get filled below the high here, okay, so starting to understand again context of where this liquidity is, and then understanding price structure, okay, which is best bid and offer going back and forth here, which means areas of consolidation and breakout and false breakout here, okay, and then back into the range, and then not able to get through it, high liquidity here, not enough buyers, finding sellers here, looking for areas of lower liquidity here, down in here. I would be looking for it to come all the way back down to $4. It didn't, but you can see the retest back up into where it dropped from here, okay, where that liquidity got filled here. All right, so again, understanding the context of these three elements here: market structure, the aggressors, and liquidity. Okay. All right, let's take a look at AMC here. We should have some data in here now. A beautiful chart. All right, so AMC as well. Here's the cash open here. Volatility at the open kind of bashes around both sides here into high liquidity, a little bit below it, traps some people, and then a nice spike to the upside to where, again, high liquidity. Now these guys came in later here at 42, okay, but you can still see them here at 42, and you can see them here. It would show up a lot better, believe me, when well, we'll just zoom in there. Exactly when that happened. Okay, so here now you can see them at 42, and you can see them here at this 41.50 or so. All right, also at 41. Okay, they go right to it. All right, so anyway, understanding that context, all the way right back down into it, starting to find some sellers trade through it. Okay, but not so decisive. Right, they're trading through it, and they do make a new low here, but look at the angle of this, and it doesn't look so decisive. In fact, it looks kind of I know it's hindsight, very easy, but it does look like a kind of very sideways-ish. In fact, you could get here the potential breakout, right? You see the buyers starting to come in and lift this up into this area of liquidity, and that's as far as it got. If we had big green dots like this up here, a little bit higher at 40.50, I would imagine we'd probably get into 41 liquidity. Okay, again, context. Understanding that on this breakout of this area here on this lower time frame, okay, above 40, right? Look at the buyers. Okay, this is looking actually really good in here and really good in here, but up here it starts to wane a little bit. You can see it: big dots, smaller dots. All right, so we find some sellers. They drive it below this little area here at 40. Okay, and then it just kind of stays there for a while. Okay, and again here, same idea. They broke out here. Look at the retest back to it. Okay, and again back down lower. Enough sellers to bring it back down into this 44 area or so, and then let's see if they drive it lower. They do, into high liquidity down here, and then it's just you know, kind of back and forth here. Does trade back up to 40. 40 was a critical area here today. Okay, it's the most traded level, the point of control. All right, so anyway, that's AMC, and what was there's a couple others in here. Let's see, Red Cat. Yeah, another a really nice looking chart here. Beautiful breakout, 9:30. You know who, or I'm sorry, this is a little bit later. This is 10:45 or so, on up into $4, through it, back to it, and then, my God, look at the buying coming in here. Okay, so with this kind of buying here, see how this is different than what we saw before? Okay, see how they're still buying in here quite a bit? I'd be looking for them to break that and try to get up into these areas here, right? So anyway, they did break it here. It did kind of slow down here. We get a retest back here, more buying back up again, looking great for the breakout, and we get it up into $6 here. Okay, now again, same concepts. Okay, this area is pretty critical, and look at the context here of liquidity. Yet again, high liquidity in here, and then they're bidding up in front of it. This is bullish. Okay, especially with all of this buying here, this is definitely bullish. Okay, we're off to the upside, and we have more buyers at a higher level here at $4, and then we have people front running. Okay, they want to be buyers in front of this $4 area here, because they're afraid they may miss it. Okay, you can see they get filled in some of these areas here, and these poor guys at $4, they never got filled. Okay, so pretty successful for the front runners, and you can see them move back up into some of these swings here. Yeah, there's high liquidity up here around this 525 area by the swing here, and we never get above it. I would have looked for it to come up a little bit higher here, maybe this 550, maybe even back to 6. Buying looks great in here, and just not enough to make it though. All right, and you can see where the sellers took it down right here, right below 5. All right, so and they never traded into it here. We didn't even make a higher high here, so kind of equal high, and then the sellers come in and be looking for it to trade right back down into these lower levels of liquidity. Okay, and that's exactly what it did. Okay, okay, interesting. Then we do see the post market here, the the move higher here, up into still be looking for this area up here, maybe around 550. Okay, still bullish here, it looks like. All right, let's see. Let me jump in here and get to some of the questions, guys. Thank you for all of the stocks in here. I won't be able to get all of those. I'm sorry, but I do want to get to a lot of the features and components in here. Okay, number one, I want to look at the volume dots. Okay, so the volume dots here, we're going to right click on the volume dots. Okay, and we're going to go to volume dot settings. Or what you could do is you can also come up here to the studies configuration, click on that. Whatever you choose, it goes to the same area, then you click on volume dots here, okay? Now, the volume dot settings for 7.2 version of Bookmap, you have total volume or you have volume delta. So I'm looking at volume delta, which is buy minus sell, okay? So it's not total volume, right? But the visualization of who's in control in some of these areas is really, really clear. It's really nice being able to understand the delta. So it's either going to be a red dot or a green dot because it's buy minus sell, and it will plot it. So if it's just one share more from the buy side, it's going to be a green dot. All right, now the total volume, you can use that as well if you like. And there's you can see it's very similar, but if we zoom into some of these areas here, you're going to see kind of a pie display of volume because there's so much volume that trades at, boy, I can't even find it here in this example. Well, so much trades at a specific level that that we can only display it as kind of you know, a pie display of that one dot. Specific percentage will be selling, and specific percentage or section will be buying. And maybe we can make this a little bit bigger. Yeah, there you go. So you can see the pie display here. So for example, look at that little sliver of selling in here and nothing but buying. This is looking great for testing back up to here, okay, or areas of high liquidity up here. All right, so anyway, that's the total volume. All right, now that little slider is right here on the chart. You can also the size is here. It's the same slider. Basically, it's just on the chart. Let's go back to a volume delta. Okay, you can look at 2D dots, 3D dots, and then there's different ways of clustering the volume as well. Play around with these settings. You might find them interesting or helpful. But you don't have to look at all the volume if you don't want to. All right, so I'm not going to go through each setting here, but I want to show you where you can find out more about it. And in fact, it's time to put the list here into the chat for you guys. So all of these links that I want to refer to here. All right, there you go. Information about the different bundles from DXFeed, the link for the special offers from CTU, and then our YouTube channel, our Discord chat room, and then our knowledge base. So I'm gonna show you that here and where you can find it from bookmap.com. You click on the more button and our knowledge base is right here. All right, so anyway, let's close that up. The special offers link will take you to this page here. All right, the DXFeed data, if you want to find out more about that, go to, scroll down to the pricing here, and then a little bit more information here. I want to go to our YouTube channel and our knowledge base though. So on our YouTube channel, okay, go to bookmap.com/YouTube, and that'll reroute you to our YouTube channel. And then you can click on the features and components playlist here. Okay, and this is where it gets into some of the nuances of these features and components that you can learn quite a bit from all the different columns in here. If we go down further, you'll find the volume dots. Here's that zoom by drag tool. Okay, where is it? Volume bars and volume dots right here, video number 36. These are very short videos, just three minutes, usually somewhere around there. Some are longer, some are shorter. And then also our Bookmap knowledge base. I showed you on the toolbar where that is from bookmap.com, and this will bring you into the knowledge base, and you can do a search here. Okay, we're in the user guide section. There's an add-on section. There's a Java-based API or JavaScript API as well. You can click on these links here. There's that connectivity guide here. All sorts of stuff in here. This is our user guide basically. All right, so this will answer a lot of your questions. Okay, so Gary has a question about the Iceberg indicator. We do have a strength indicator for stocks or for anything that's not MBO data for futures, which you guys might have heard about. I don't want to touch on it too much because most of you guys are stock traders, but CME Group is offering something, or they have for about 4 or 5 years now, market by order data, which is metadata, and we have indicators that are proprietary that can uncover native CME Iceberg transactions as well as stop and stop run transactions. It's for futures only though. Okay, now there is this strength indicator here for stocks, and there can be false positives generated from this though. It's this number here. Okay, and what we're doing and why there's false positives in here potentially is that what we're looking at here is the bid or the offer, in this case, the offer, and then what transacts. If more transacts than what was on the offer, well, that's an impossible situation. Okay, the difference must be an iceberg. Right, that's the concept. Why false positives can emerge here is because the data, it really matters to the nanosecond. Okay, if more orders come in later than the transactions, just because of the different data feeds from the best bid and offer versus transactions, then you're going to get the false positive, right? And it does happen, right? So the market by order data is extremely accurate. Okay, basically like 100% accurate. All right. Pulling orders, Jerry, you can see that very, very easily. Here, we can just zoom in here. And guys, I'm going to take the, unless you have more questions about it, I'm going to just take the strength indicator off the chart. The reason being is that it can be kind of distracting. But those are icebergs. All right, that's the iceberg or the strength indicator for stocks. Just note that it's not as accurate as the market by order data. All right, well, here's high liquidity here. Jerry is talking about this high liquidity down here. This liquidity in here, see it's red here. We know how many shares it is. It's 16,612. It starts to transact, and we don't see sellers drive it through it though. So what does that mean? In fact, we're looking at cumulative volume delta here. Okay, this is a classic example of what absorption means. Again, this is something really, really nice about Bookmap is if you want to understand some of these concepts of what absorption is, exhaustion, pulled orders, fake liquidity, and I'm going to not define it as fake liquidity. It's liquidity that did not have the intent to trade. It's not fake though. Okay, they put the orders in the order book, right? And that would be like these guys up here. Okay, there's high liquidity in here, and then they pulled it here. They did not want to be traders here. All right, they wanted to be traders at another area, or maybe they just pulled it from the market. But these guys down here, they traded. Okay, and we never found sellers trade through these 16,000 shares. In fact, there's probably quite a bit more here. Yeah, there's 27,000. 152 here, and then all these transactions took place. In fact, we have a volume column here. We can even split this out. I want to show you this. Okay, this is a volume column here. If you right click in here, you'll see it's chart range accumulated volume. It's a volume column here, right? And we're going to go to configure. Okay, now we can show delta here. We can also split out the data. Okay, so we can see precisely how much traded here, right? You want to zoom in, you want the details here, here it is. Okay, so we can see that at this point here within this chart range at this price level, okay, a lot more traded than those 27,000 here, right? A lot more. So there must have been some icebergs in here as well. Okay, we see 34,622 actually transacted, okay, at that point, right? So they stayed in the book. They became buyers here, right? They completely absorbed any of the selling action here, and that's absorption. Okay, now here's where they stayed in the book here and they had the intent to trade here. They were absorbing it up to this point here, but there's more buyers than there was limit sell orders here, and they broke out. Okay, they broke through the area. Okay, again, understanding this concept here. A lot of traders, when they're first new to Bookmap, they look at these areas. Oh, well, this is supply. Can't get through it. It's going to bounce here and go, like $10, $15 the opposite direction. It doesn't work like that. It is an auction. It is understanding the context here. Okay, that there are sellers up here, but there are more buyers than there are sellers. They're able to lift the offer. They're able to trade through that and take liquidity at other levels above it. Okay, and it trades right up into another area of high liquidity up here. Okay, and it does not get through that, which is kind of odd. It's not very high liquidity. We just kind of found liquidity and just not enough buyers, and so we get a rotation lower. They do break it here back on up. Anyway, yeah, so those are some of these concepts here about understanding real or liquidity that transacts and liquidity that is pulled. You can see it very clearly. This was pulled liquidity, pulled liquidity. A lot of times you'll see it right before price gets there as well. Okay, less so, I think, than futures here. In stocks, they usually, the larger players, they want to get filled and they stay in the book. All right, so anyway, this chart's showing lots of people staying in the book. Here's some pulled liquidity in here. Okay, it looks like they want to be sellers in here, but we can zoom in here. We can see all the nuances. In fact, looks like they pulled from this price level up here, okay, and then added down below. So actually, they pulled liquidity here, but they are actually being pretty aggressive. They want to be sellers in here, okay, and they got filled. right? Now, see these guys did pull here at this, probably the same guy, but we don't know. But he did not want to be a seller here. At the last second, before any transactions occurred here, he pulled it from the market. And it's very easy for buyers to lift it to try to reach the next level of high liquidity. Okay, it's just supply and demand. Very, very simple and straightforward. All right. What is the indicator? Yeah, this is cumulative volume delta, Daniel. Again, very simple. This is such a blunt and simple but insightful indicator. Buy minus sell plotted over time. Right. So you can start to read and start to understand divergences in the market, where there might be, for example, let's just take a look here. We'll find a good one. Yeah, this one's actually really, really curious, really interesting. Not so many buyers up here. Okay, and then look at the more buying up here. Okay, so this is the opposite of what we usually see, right? This is actually a pretty strong signal, in my opinion. Why? Okay, because we actually have more buyers up here, but look what happened. Okay, did they reach a higher price level here? No, they did not. The price went to here. Okay, at to 525 here, or 525, yeah, 525. Here we even have more buying in here, and even more buying in here, and they can't even reach it. Okay, the high that they went to was 522. Okay, so more buying, and they can't reach the a higher high. All right, so we're looking for sellers to start to come in. Okay, at a certain point. Now, maybe it rotates back down and we find more buyers in here again, and they break out. Okay, but you start to look for sellers at some of these lower areas here. Okay, because they cannot make a higher high. Right now, this would be really, really hard to catch, I think, because they just come in and hit the book really hard here, okay, and then drive it lower. But now think about it. Okay, understanding context again. All of this buying up here, these guys are now sellers. Where are they going to sell? Okay, likely below the swing here, okay, or this swing down here. So you'd be looking for them to get stopped out on the way down, and look at the powerful moves here. Okay, so you can start to understand areas of trapped volume as well, just by understanding context of liquidity and volume. Okay, they traded up into this high liquidity here as well. All right, and I want to show another example too. So that's trap volume. I want to show that other example here of absorption, where you'll see CVD dropping and dropping and dropping, but it cannot go lower. And that's the opposite divergence. I don't know if it's positive or negative, whatever. It does not matter. It's understanding these concepts. And let's see here if I can find a good example. Yeah, not the best example. Well, not bad. I want to find a better one for you guys. Hold on. That one earlier, right? Okay, was it here? We were just looking at that, right? Yeah, okay, yeah, this is it. Okay, yeah, I mean, look at CVD dropping. Okay, is price dropping? No. They're absorbing in here, and you can see some really, it's not the greatest example again, but boy, I had a good one earlier. They just couldn't get through that price level, and maybe I was looking at a different stock. Is it this one here? Yeah, I'm sorry guys, I cannot find it, but yeah, here we go. Here, this is a good example. Nah, not really. Not a whole lot of selling in here. Anyway, the concept is tons of selling into high liquidity, CVD dropping like a rock. right? Because it's just buy minus sell, but they can't get through these limit buy orders. Okay, so you're going to see once you start to see buyers come in on the other side, okay, you'd be looking for a nice swing higher. Okay, all right, let's see. Okay, all right, so yeah, Fausto wants me to finish up here. No problem. Boy, I didn't get through much. I want to also just touch on a few other features and components here. We went through CVD, that's good. We went through some of the columns, not much, but right click in here and play around with these. And again, look at the YouTube channel features and components. The heat map settings, for example, is another one. All right. You can right click in here or go to heat map settings up here. Okay, and play around with the different cutoffs. You don't have to look at all of this liquidity. You can really, you know, limit it if you want and just look at areas of very, very high liquidity. Okay, now if you go the opposite direction, you're going to look at all of the, you know, levels of liquidity. Okay, so I usually just keep it on default. That's good enough for me. Sometimes I will adjust the heat map though. Okay, so play around with some of these settings. If it's a little too busy and a little too much for you, you can use some of those heat map settings. All right. Okay, yeah, so let's see, any more questions? Let's see here. And we covered quite a bit. Not too much like last time. We really covered more about the, you know, context, but we did cover also about context and understanding bidding up in areas and volume at certain areas, and not being able to break highs or whatever it might be. Anyway, let's see here. There's a replay mode as well. You guys can record and your data and replay it back at the end of the day. It's one of the best tools for learning. If you guys want to replay it and then look at and understand those areas again and again and again. Okay, so that might be very helpful. Let's see, there's a request to look at MRIN. Sure. And this was kind of interesting one here. I was looking at it earlier. You know, a lot of these stocks you guys see a lot of the times. I mean, you know, huge buying, pullback, huge buying, up into high liquidity again, $18 up here, doesn't trade into it, comes back down to where all of that buying initiated here on this leg, and then just goes sideways for the rest of the day. A lot of times I know stocks, you see that all of this huge buying and then it just dries up. And then you get sellers coming in, driving it all the way back down to where it initiated down here at the cash open, or this was even pre-market. In fact, this is cash open. So yeah, you can see that it went down below the low of the cash open here, right? But it did not break the pre-market. All right. Okay. All right. I think that's it. If there's, let's see, any more settings on about, let's see, the book and the volume bars. Yeah, the volume bars too, as well. You can right click on these and go to volume settings here, the volume bars. Okay, you can look at delta, which is what I'm doing. You can even match it to the volume dots from above if you like, okay, for the clustering only.
Hey, Bruce, if you can, just go over, some people are asking about the pricing regarding about the Bookmap and stuff, because I am going to actually take over right after you. Okay. I'm only going to be talking for about 10 minutes, everybody, just going over a couple of stocks that I traded. One big one was XELA. But just tell them a little bit about it, and then I'm going to pick up where you left off. I'll go over a couple of my examples. And then for some of you that are just new here at Cyber University, I'll tell you how you can actually just watch us use it in our live trading room. So don't go anywhere. We'll talk about another 10 minutes right after.
Okay, so I put those links in again for you guys. It's all in there. This link is in there as well. So now these are the specials that you can get from Cyber Trading University using the affiliate link. The Global Plus, you know, which has all of the add-ons That is for 147 for the first 3 months. That's the deal that you get. Okay, so it's basically 50% off. But then after that, it goes back to the regular price. Okay, and then it's recurring quarterly. All right. Then there's the Global Plus for the year, which is 588 for the first year, and then it goes up to the regular recurring cost of 948 a year after that. That's why I think this one, the Global Lifetime, is the best, because you get it for 990, but you get it for life, and you get all of the add-ons free for a year. So basically, you're getting this one here, plus you're getting it for life. All right. And then if you want to upgrade, if you like all the add-ons, you want to keep them, you can always just upgrade and pay the difference for Global Plus for lifetime. So you just pay $1,000 more, and then you get the lifetime for Global Plus. All right. Now, again, this is only for the software. A real key element here is the data. Okay. You need to have DXV data for stocks. Okay. So take a look at the deals in there. Click on the link here. It's available. First, if you're interested in all this, use the link here, okay, and subscribe to Bookmap or get Bookmap, and then you don't have to use this link here, okay. Just from the website, click on add-ons, and then you'll get DXV data from bookmap.com. Okay, you don't have to use this link here, all right. But you'll see the in the add-ons, the data feeds. You can get NASDAQ, EDGX, I'm sorry, NASDAQ total view and last sale for $69 a month, EDGX or BATS for $59, or the best one, this is what Fausto and Josh and everyone else uses, the premium bundle. More ECNs, the better. So $119 a month, but it's $59 for the first month. And again, TradeStation, Interactive Brokers, we do connect to it, but not for data, only for routing your trade data. So you're sending them data. I think that's it, Fausto.
All right. Well, thank you very much for that, Bruce. That was an awesome presentation. Everyone, don't go anywhere. I'm going to take over right now. I'm going to talk about a couple more examples that I've done that we'll do in the trading room. But I did post that link up there again. You can just go right and click on that Bookmap link. Just fill out the registration form, and you can get that promo. So once again, let me talk a little bit about what we do here at Cyber Trading University, how we utilize the Bookmap. So I'm just going to take over right here, right now. But Bruce, thank you very much for coming, and I look forward to talking to you soon. And hopefully look forward to see you back in October when we have our on-site.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Fausto. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. All right, so let me just share my screen so everyone else could see here. Screen 2. There we go. All right, hopefully everybody could see that. Can everyone see my screen right here? Just want to do just let me know if you guys could see it. All right, perfect. All right, so basically, you saw how we utilize Bookmap, and you know what? Listen, it's not cheap, but it's not expensive. You know what I mean? It's part of doing business. My mentor, when I started trading, when I took a seat on the started trading, I had to pay $1,000 a month for this product. A month, not even a year or a lifetime. A month. Imagine asking a 22-year-old back in 1995 to come up with $1,000 a month to pay for that. Let me tell you something. It eliminated about 95% of the people, and that's why 99% of people fail. There's a 4% chance that some people did make it. But when you start seeing the importance of it, you realize how important it is to trade in today's markets. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite every one of you to come into our trading room so you could see us use the platform live in the market, okay? So if you're still a little skeptical, I know we have a lot of students here that are logged in, and you want to probably know a little bit more about it. So you probably want to click on that link and get registered and get that platform. But if you're new here to Cyber Trading University and you want to just say, you want to go for a little test drive on the platform before we actually do it, well, what I want to do is I want to invite you in our cyber group room. This is the original trading room that I started about 25 years ago. You're seeing a lot of them around, popping up everywhere. Some of them are our students, some are our instructors, which is great. And hopefully one day you could be one of them too. But I want to talk about some of our stocks that we trade on our watch list. Now, we run a scanner system, and we offer an alert service to our traders. And, you know, you could backtrack it. Listen, we're not making this stuff up. You could look at the time slots when we do them. You could look at the stocks that we traded. But, and you could see a lot of the stocks that were big movers, like the BLIN, the MRIN, the Works. You're probably wondering, what the hell are these stocks, right? Like, what the hell are these things? But we don't care where we trade. We just want to make money. I want to focus on this one stock right here. And let me just get my crayon so you guys could, my little dot right here so you guys could follow along. And the big part about being a trader is you got to have a game plan. Know what the trend is and what is the strongest price levels. And Bruce did a very good demonstration of explaining that, of those big support and resistance levels. Now, I want to talk about this stock XELA. This is another stock that we had a big runner. I mean, he brought up a lot of good stocks. So we'll talk a little bit about this one. What is the trend of the stock? Well, I know this is a stupid question, and I'm going to give you the stupid answer. It's going up, right? We don't need something to tell us. It's a common sense. It looks like a chart. We know the trend. But the big thing about being a successful trader is having a game plan. That's where it comes down to it. And having a game plan works off this. What price level shows the most volume on the COB? Okay, well, if you look right here up on top, you got big support levels right around 350, and you got big resistance levels at $4. Now, if you just do the math, you buy 1,000 shares, okay, the stock literally in 10 minutes goes from 350 to $4. You do that every day, 50 cents, 1,000 shares, $500, there's your six-figure salary. Now, the big thing I want to show is this. What do you think happens if history repeats itself? And what that means if stocks break those big supports and resistance levels. Well, the big thing that we try to teach you is that when you see what happened here, this stock broke out and took that big seller at $4. Now, can that happen? Of course it can. How do we know it's happening? How do we know it's not a cancel? How do we know it's not a fake order? Well, if you look right here, fellow traders, you could see that this is what's great about the Bookmap. You could see that there was a big blue line. That is what is very, it works off the time and sales. You see, I'm a tape reader. I read the tape. Boom, you could see the order got done. The guy got filled. Guess what? That could happen. Yes, absolutely. You see a 400,000 share seller. Hell, I saw a 600,000 share seller today on a stock, and the thing took off. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh my God, look at this. This guy's getting executed. If he gets done, this thing's going to go off to the races. Well, guess what? It's exactly what happened with this stock. And the game plan is, where is the next resistance levels? Well, you got 450 and $5. Guess what? What do you think the stock's going to do? Like it or not, it's going there with you or without you, because that is where the next big resistance levels are. Remember, there is no such thing of a resistance level unless there's a seller. We don't teach support and resistance levels unless we have a buyer and seller. You have to have a game plan. Guess what? What did the stock do? It busted right through it, and it went to a big seller, and you could see it, 400,000 shares, 434,000, 389,000. You could see all these on the heat map. Look at all the big sellers coming now. 100,000, 100,000, 200. Are you seeing what's going on? Do you see what's happening, fellow traders? This is what happened this morning, right here. Let me draw this right here. These are your sellers. Executed, seller, executed, seller, executed. Then all of a sudden, seller, oops, sorry, I'm done. Stock goes down. Look at all the sellers starting to come in. And the stock is starting to trend down. It goes all the way down to 425. Right, and it could be, Daniel, that's right. Then it becomes a short. Of course it can. But the game plan is you have to see support and resistance levels, but it doesn't exist unless you got those buyers and sellers. And if those sellers get done, guess what? Stocks break resistance levels all the time. How does that happen? By looking and seeing if the orders are getting done. This is what we teach here at Cyber Trade University. So if you're new here and you're wondering, Fausto, I see you on NASDAQ talking. I see you going to be on Wealth 365 tomorrow. I see you, you know, on TV shows, radio shows, on YouTube. How do you find these stocks? Listen, I am not a genius. I don't act like one. I don't pretend to be. I just follow the money. Okay, that's the way I taught, and that's how I teach my traders. So if you want to know, if you're looking for somebody that's going to show you the greatest way of using a Bollinger Band, you should log out right now. If you're looking for someone that's going to show you, hey, I got the greatest new, platform to trade off, I'm not your guy. You want to follow the money, you're looking at the right place. How do you spot these big buyers, Daniel? Well, guess what? That's a great question, and I will show you that tomorrow because the market is closed. Okay, you want to see this how it works? Very simple. You have to learn before you could earn. And that's what trading is all about. Listen, there was a reason why I do presentations for Thinkorswim, TradeStation, Charles Schwab, Tastyworks, all the biggest ones. Cyber Trading University has very big name recognition. Because they see what our traders do. We teach people how to keep things simple, not complicated. And it all has to do what you're looking at right here. Now, this is what I'm asking for. Obviously, you know about the Bookmap promo. So if you're a student, you got the link, click on it, register it, and purchase it. I mean, we use it all day long. We showcase it, but you got to have your own thing, Now, the next thing. If you're new here and you want to see what's happening, well, we got a Bookmap promo for $9. That's it. $9 money back guarantee. We'll allow you to come into our trading room for 1 week. 1 full week. You could talk to your personal education advisor. You got morning, afternoon watch lists, daily market meetings, the cyber group trading room. And guess what? After 7 days, if you are not impressed, guess what? We'll give you $9 back. Listen, I don't need the scrutiny. I don't need your $9. Okay, the $9 just tells me if you're a real person or not. Because I'm not. We're looking to train people we could trade with. We need to train people that like to use and want to know how to use this platform and get it. So I don't care if you're an option trader, a forex trader, a futures trader. Listen, if you're not making 6 figures doing that, and I'm talking about after 30 to 60 days, you're not seeing progress. You're wasting your time. Come to the other side, try this. Don't believe what you hear, okay? You need too much money to do this. Horse crap. You know what you need? $9. That's it. $9 stinking dollars. And let me show you why we were ranked and have a 5-star rating on Google. We're endorsed by every brokerage firm because it starts here. So with that said, everyone, you got the link. Does anyone have any questions before we go? Any last minute questions? First of all, I'd like to thank the staff for making this very successful, and Bookmap giving a good presentation. Thank you so much for all that. But you got the link. Click on it. Let's register it. Let's get in the trading room, and let's go out there and make some money together. All right? The worst thing that could happen to you, the worst thing is you actually learn something. I don't think that'd be a bad thing. Thanks everybody for sticking around. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Look forward to seeing our upcoming events coming up here at Cyber Trading University and other future Closing Bell live events with some of the most top gurus in the industry. And you can always go on our website on Closing Bell Live, look at previous recordings of classes of great presenters that we had and future ones also that are coming up. But thanks again for watching, everybody. Happy trading. Good night. We'll see you back here in the morning, live on YouTube and in the Cyber Group room if you do your trial, and students. Thanks, everybody. Have a great evening.